Bienvenidos amigos. Well, I'm not gonna do the intro again, but we're gonna do a good old La Bombonera de Boca Juniors to Racing and Estudiantes stadiums. But first, we are in a park, Park La Sterza, close to San Telmo. And right, there's a Russian Orthodox church. Which looks very nice. And then here's the park. Police are kicking out a homeless guy. Then here you've got a Navalny thing. So which makes sense. But yeah, it's a cool spot. Yeah, the police have a homeless guy to deal with. Okay, walking in the mud's not a great idea. Yeah. Here's a cool thing. I assume that's a conquistador of some sort. Except you're in the US, there'd be questions about that. But it's cool. But yeah, when I was walking up here, a cop car did like a whole 360. One of those K-turns, you know? So, but I don't know. Random small observations about Buenos Aires. Scaffolding's different on buildings, where instead of like the big vertical rectangles, it's instead like a basket on the first floor. Another thing, so I went to the suburb of Lanús yesterday. Yeah, Lanús, because it's named after a French word, a French name, Lanús. And there, so took the commuter rail down. Don't think Lanús is that touristy a spot, but it was a good walk. All right, yeah, and plus yesterday was the Copa Sudamericana final, which of course had Lanús versus Atletico. Yep. Buenos dias versus Atletico MG. And so, of course, so this is, you hear about different football people talk about commercialization. There wasn't like a watch party at the stadium, so I found it. So I kept walking, and so I passed people in the backyard, some nice setups. But I ended up finding a pizza bar in the main street, in the like the main commercial area of Lanús, which across the street from the railroad. And so just standing there, watching a good little TV for a bit. And you know what? It all worked out. The game itself was actually, it is South American football at the end of, or it's only, I don't want to start the video talking about football will kill my retention, but we will table it for when I get to one of the iconic football stadiums, La Bombonera, along with the Estadio Monumental de River, San Siro, the Milan, and Inter. But yeah, again, like the Lannis thing, again, like, so very suburban. It's effectively it's all single family lots. Like, so I went down to Zamora, so the stop after Banfield. Yeah, because ChatGPT said there was nothing interesting in those areas. I disagree. Yeah. The main town was very interesting. Or the main street. A, dusty. But then B, on the affluence, they've got Affluence, yeah, stop. What do you call it? Like countdown clocks? Which is actually, you know, talk about reinventing the wheel, you know? That's some good fundamental stuff right there. Yeah. Okay, I'll take less photos today. Let's focus on locking in. I need to go back to the hotel to drop off my my tracksuit. Because it's 60, but it is quite warm. Which is, I guess, the humidity. Yeah, but it's actually a nice walk. And plus, I found this wonderful cafe place. And so pretty much at this point, after the walk down to San Lorenzo in that really bad part of town to Parque de la Ciudad, kind of lost my my desire to fully lean into the rougher, or like the less visited parts of town. Kind of lost my gusto for that. So, after Lannis yesterday, kind of, it is very, again, like it's literally very residential. You don't have the classic mixed use setup, which I enjoy. So instead you have, it's not bad, but it's kind of more reminiscent of a US city in that sense. So, or US, or like the DMV. There's a Carrefour. It is nice to see international brand DD has a decent presence out here. I do suppose out of all the clubs, Boca is probably the most, not the most iconic to it, because blue and yellow is a unique color. So you have Las Palmas, which instantly come to mind. But I guess you probably have to go Maradona connection. Which does some of the heavy lifting. Again, I don't have a list for every time I've seen a Maradona mural, but I've seen it again. But A, they're cool. And B, Maradona's a cool guy, but so why not? It's not a bad setup at all. Yeah, from La Bombonera, it'll be an hour, 10-minute walk, says Google. I think we can do less. I'm also quite hungry, so I want to get to that bakery spot. I need to go to the hotel, drop off this jacket. This is going to be an annoying walk. Spend all day with a jacket. This is starting to heat up, so marginal. Yeah, Buenos Aires again. So I did get psyched out with the plastic burning as I San Lorenzo. I do think conceptually, like it was smart to not cross the street, across the walkway, to go into the main Laguna. I think people agree. Oh, so everything, the lottery stores, they are everywhere. And they also tend to be full, which it's kind of a prerequisite for me to like a country. It's a prerequisite. Yeah. Need to have a permissive gambling culture. Like that. It's truly in Boca. Now people say like everything, I don't know, if you see like the TikTok, if you watch or you read 5 different Buenos Aires travel articles, and then you watch 5 Buenos Aires TikToks, I don't know, man. To me, just give a very distorted sense of what you want to do or what you can do. You know, it's go to San's. It's like you literally only hug the waterfront, effectively. Which leaves out Atlantis was perfectly fine to walk. Again, like there were like little girls walking around on their own, which has a litmus test for safety. It is a pretty good one. Oh, that's cool. Boca police station. Very cool. This might be the last. Yeah, I might just use the phone camera. Just because this does stick out like a sore thumb. It is a bit annoying to have to carry it around. Especially if I'm gonna have some pastries in the back pocket. will say, football murals, excellent element. I think later today there was a match versus Tyrus, I think today. And then I think tomorrow or Monday, it's Racing versus River. And of course, we will see Racing Stadium in a bit, assuming we find a way over. The Excursionistas versus Millonarios. That was a good experience. Even in a small stadium like that, like, there's no way that stadium has big capacity or high capacity, but even with that, you know, they had the classic in Latin American football where you have the big streamers that go down vertically across the stand, and you've got the arm waving, you know, and there were some away fans, so, and a lot of like Puto tu Madre, or Puta tu Madre. Yeah, it was good. That's the Linus game. So, dude, there's so much secondhand smoke, dude. So much secondhand smoke. But, oh, it's cool because that's literally. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, it's a bit strange because there's, like, at a park, I got a Troy Panther. Or is this a dead end? Fuck, it's a dead end. Damn it. Oh, yeah, I might just do the pastries instead of a lunch. It is hard to find, again, it's hard to find a hole in the ball. Oh, I just want pollo con arroz or something. Yeah, I haven't really had a lot of pure Argentinian food on this trip, actually. Come to think of it. Yeah, actually, yeah, because I don't have my phone and the camera out. That's just bad. Like, I do think the safety aspects, like, even in the plastic burning walk, like, nobody approached me. Like, again, I walked past a good number of, like, homeless guys who are truly, in a not good situation. And there, no one approached me in a negative, hostile way. But again, also, it is smart policing. Because at least it seems that in Buenos Aires, the cops, they always have the lights on. Of course, without the siren, which is actually very smart policing, because that way it tangibly establishes the presence of the cop, of la Policía de la Ciudad. I will say their logo is actually pretty cool. It's the Buenos Aires, the Ciudad Autónoma outline, and then within it's just like a bunch of like sticks, which I presume represent la gente de la ciudad. It is wonderful how it is a Sunday morning. And so, actually, yesterday, yeah. So I will say it's not like I'm not so pretentious as to pretend I refuse to do touristy things, or I'm seeking out the less good parts of the city. But I'm just walking around and I don't want to restrict myself. So with that note, to establish I'm not solely trying to do travel porn like some people can do. Like honestly, at some point, but that's a bit unfair. But yeah, I'm not trying to. Yeah, but even then, like on that walk into the San Lorenzo and the Plastic Marina, like I didn't take a lot of pictures. Oh, of course, hey, I was sussed out. And I did recognize the smell of burning plastic. Don't ask why I recognize it. So I did just want to get out of there, of course. But it's also, it is a bit disrespectful too, I think. At that point, it does come off as like, trying to like belittle or commodify the experience. And it's not I'm against documenting, like here I am. We're on the bus yesterday for part of the bus ride. But it was actually an interesting story. Let me put a tail on that. On the bus ride, I did record part of it. It wasn't out of, right? But I wasn't trying to focusing on anybody. It was just to document it, because I don't think everybody uses a bus when they visit. So that's what we are about here, right? Holistic experiences. Yeah, of course. So yesterday after the game, which went to extra time and penalties, which the Lions did win. That was cool. Again, it is cool. They're literally champions of the second most prestigious South American competition. Fundación Boca Juniors. Interesting. Also, the Argentinos Junior Stadium, which I did record, so hopefully I upload it, was also cool. Although Argentinos Juniors probably doesn't have the same level of aura per se, but you know, you do what you can. Boca parking lot. Yeah, it's like the classic, like normal thing, but in Japan. I am that. Yeah, I mean, but of course, the cool thing about La Bombonera is that it only has 3 sides to it. 3 stands. You know, it's not a full setup. Miguel separated. You know, because there wasn't enough space to do it fully. So one of the stands. forget which side. Or one of the sides literally doesn't have a stand. I'm blanking on the details because it is actually very distinctive. Maradona. It's a very distinct design, which is cool. It's iconic. Yeah. The commentary in this video is not great. I'm a bit frazzled, and again, here in public, you know. But I'm sure the footage speaks for itself. You know. Again, like later tonight, I don't think I'll walk around here at night when it's around the game. Just because, you know, yeah, a bit much. Yeah, plus, yeah, like, barely anybody here, you know. It is a very late night city. I do think I can confirm that on this walk. So it is nice to, you know, the sun's out and the sun's a good proxy. Of course, this is coming from an East Coast guy, so I don't fully use the logic, but hey, look at that. All the stars for, would that be, of course, the Argentine Football League has a very weird setup as a tournament. To where you don't really win. But pretty much, it's not a traditional league setup as you might be used to in other places. You know. Which isn't bad. Well, yeah. Kind of is bad, actually, because I do think it restricts the ability of Argentine football marginally to compete. Yeah, certainly you compare. Well, I guess this is a football-oriented video. It is. I think. That's cool. Maradona, Pope Francis. Yes, fascinating. Of course, not sure if it picked up on the camera, but there was a cop. There's female cops doing the beat a lot. Look at that. Maradona, Francis, some pop stars. True quintessential experience. Of course, Dan Lorenzo is the Pope's team, so it's a shame for it to be that way. I will say I actually do appreciate the street graffiti, because the graffiti it is everywhere, it truly is, but I think it's on brand for Buenos Aires. Yeah. Who has more, Messi or Maradona? Things. I like that. You've got the Copa Never trophyless. I assume like Libertadores or something like that. Spartan Stadium's gonna be cut off. It's a shame. So we can't get. But just interesting setup. It does make sense for there to be some restrictions given that there is a game later today. Gosh, restrooms here. Boca. Oh, there are restrooms here. I wanted. Oh, that's tempting. Use the restroom. Film using the restroom. It's a possibility. Alright, I'm gonna have to pause. In part. Only because the camera is now acting up.